What is your greatest self? How do you get there? And how do you know that you've done it? Those are all the questions that we ask ourselves as we move through our lives. And then we discover that we all want the same thing. And that is, you want to be acknowledged, you want to be seen, you want to know that you make a difference, you want all those things, you want to know all of that. But I will tell you that you're supposed to have a really great life and you're supposed to really lead an extraordinary one, but you may not have known that right now because the world is moving through this mass ascension, so you're doing the same thing. And what that means is you're being asked to become more, to become your greatest self, because that is what is within you. Every human is born the entirely same way, with bodies and brains. That's it. And it's consciousness. What we begin to understand is that we navigate our lives while we're on this in this world, while we're still alive, in our consciousness. The way that we choose to perceive anything that we see, perceive ourselves, but we forget that other part. We were taught how to do that. And so, for us to become our greatest self, we have to get out of that place. We have to get out of wherever we were and then move to the next place of who we're meant to become. That's every single soul. But our world does the same thing because we are a collection of all these humans that come together, and then we start to discover that it's energy. And so all we're working with is the energy that is within us, and then the energy that we collectively put into our world. And then we start to discover that it's creative, meaning that we can create something with our mind using energy. And then we start to discover, wait a minute, we can do that in the world as well. But the other problem with that might be that you can't believe the other part of it, the unknown, what you haven't done yet. And so we become afraid and we stay where we are. I can say this because I've done that. I'm 74 now, and I hid all of this for so long. I didn't do it intentionally, but that's how it felt to me because I couldn't tell you what was happening. But I can tell you now because it's far more important for you to understand. We all come into the world to do something a little different. Everyone has a unique plan that they're meant to live in their lives. And if they do that, they live a great life and they contribute to the world. That's just how it works. Everyone will not do that. And I can say this because I've been talking about this for several years now. And we can look at our world and we say, wait a minute, people aren't changing. What happened? Why are we looking this way? I'm going to show you a little document. I just put together something, and I'm going to explain what you may have been feeling the last several years of your life, or maybe forever, but definitely recently, and you'll gain great insight into this. And it's about each of us taking the next step into what we're meant to become. And everybody has that. There's no person born who doesn't have some value within them. It's just we may be thinking about it in an incorrect way. And I will tell you one of the ways is about money. That's one, and right now, that is what has confused you. That was one of the messages I received from Wilhelm. The money confused you. We think that that's what's going to give us everything that we want in our lives, but then we die, and then what happens to that money? You see, that's gone. It is you, it is your soul that wants to develop and wants to live this really great life. And you pick a dynamic time to be alive to be able to do that. And again, I can say this and I'm going to explain it to you and you will understand it and you're going to feel so much better by tonight. So let me show you this though, first of all. I'm going to read a few things to you because you might have been confused about what was happening in the world. But in 2020, actually before that, I began to know because Wilhelm had given me all this information. I began receiving Wilhelm in 1989, and every day I sat down and I wrote out messages, which was cosmic guidance and wisdom that ended up changing my life. And now it's turned into a complete philosophy for this time in our world. And I will explain why. The first part of it, you were afraid to love. This was the first time, this was May 2020, where they started using different phrases. I'm talking about Wilhelm, and the United States became the biggest one. And I didn't understand why. I do now. First, we are speaking to each person individually and your world collectively, primarily due to the world conditions, and the events in the United States. We have given you several messages on this subject, but we will summarize here. Love is the most powerful force that exists. It is powerful because it does not restrict its energy. It does not limit its energy and continues to expand because love is the absence of all judgment. If each of you comes to understand and accept this concept, you and your world will evolve exponentially. I just pulled out little portions just to give you an idea, but I just did them sequentially in order because that is how I receive information and that is how we all receive it. There's a consciousness that we all have that we can accept at a certain time, and sometimes we can't get over it. Okay, to June 22nd, 2020, why are you angry? We led Roger to a photo this morning of the removal of a statue of one of the former presidents of the United States, as it depicted the president on a horse with subservient images beside and below him of a Native American and African American. You were taught inadequacy, and that is why you are angry. And what is that message is saying? It was telling us all that we carry around old beliefs and ideas that don't allow us to become empowered because we were taught something else earlier. That is throughout civilization. Doesn't matter what race you might have been or gender or what, throughout some time in your life, that was there. And so unless we're looking at it and changing it, nothing changes. June 26, 2020. The more you know, the less you understand. What we gave Roger today, which gave him pause, was to speak again on your world's condition. Currently, a restructuring is occurring, and given that you collectively hold the fear of the unknown, that fear will become more significant as you are in the midst of a profound change. It is not difficult to understand how the energy may impact you personally and the world when you resist the change because you want to know where things are headed beforehand. We will tell you that the United States will experience the most incredible shift as it was believed they held the most tremendous power. You will understand how the feminine energy we have spoken of was misplaced because an adjustment was needed to aid the evolution of all that is. June 19th, 2020. Understanding your past may help you accept your present. We must tell you that those words hold gems that many of you will come to recognize and understand. We are quite aware that today is a national holiday in the United States meant to celebrate freedom, and many of you will find that in this message. A few weeks ago, we led Roger to a recording of Hill's speeches, and Roger jokingly exclaimed, "I think I'm Napoleon Hill." In a sense, he is correct. You each have energetic connections to those who have come before. And today we provided Roger with more proof. Um, the video Roger heard today brought it all together nicely. Everything Roger heard was what we had given him for his program, but we gave Roger enhancements. Hill said there are no new ideas, but only ones you can grasp and improve upon, which causes evolution. Each of you has the potential, ability, and energetic connection to great souls who have lived, and you are meant to enhance their work. Why do you think we have been yelling for years that there is no hierarchy of souls? July 12th, 2020. Yesterday, Roger attended a family video call with many of his relatives whom he had not seen in decades. During the conversation, the current affairs of your world came up, and there were comments made in which Roger found himself unable to contain his feelings, and for him, his outburst was shocking. Roger is typically passive in his discussions of social issues and usually attempts to avoid controversy. Now you will understand why we had him use the Hitler reference yesterday. We always know what's ahead and prepare him for those encounters, precisely as your guides have prepared you for everything in your life, and you always come to recognize that. The comment that brought up Roger's reluctant voice was one that Roger felt might have harmed others. That is the criteria that typically informs Roger's actions. But because he simultaneously does not wish to hurt another's feeling, he remained silent until yesterday. In the middle of his outburst, Roger knew that possibly others did not have the information he did, so he decided to offer to teach. When you discover your reason for being alive, you will also find your passion, and it may come out forcibly and startle you as it did Roger. We will not make this a book, but the restructuring you are experiencing is your understanding of your oneness and connectedness to all, and using it to aid evolution. At times, you need extreme conditions like a pandemic, or extreme leaders like Hitler, or a country like the United States that momentarily lost its way. The balance you all will experience is complete and total acceptance of you and all others. We are speaking of pure love, and these events always cause that to occur. August 31st, 2020. You were not meant to find yourself until now. We use those quotes in the title of this message, for that is how most humans believe they are moving through their lives. But you were never lost. You have continually denied what you think you hear about yourself, which could be interpreted as guidance, but you have trouble understanding this concept. While analogies are never satisfactory, we will attempt to use one. You would not expect your kindergarten self to perform mathematical feats before learning math in later grades. You do the same in your life. But because you think you should have known or seen these things before, you judge yourself and develop the consciousness that you have failed in some manner, which you have not. We will use a story. Now, we have continually given Roger information about the restructuring of your world and told him the United States and Black women would help lead the way. The information seemed so strange to him that he only spoke to a few. Then Roger watched the film Black Panther last night and began to make the connection. Roger could not understand why he had not seen this viral film before, and we told him that it would only make sense now. You each will have those experiences. We are pointing this out because Roger has always doubted the information he receives from us, just as you have questioned all the information and guidance about yourself you think you might be hearing. That sentence was intentional. We have much more on the subject, but take this for now. You are each born with gifts that will develop at the right time in your life. But typically, you don't allow that to happen or believe it is happening until you find yourself in situations where you feel pushed to do something. For many of you, that time is now, Wilhelm. And that time is now, and obviously why I'm reading that on today, which is November 20th, which we had another energetic shift that we have waited for years, 248 years to be exact. So there are energies changing. I must tell you that you can live an extraordinary life, and I know that. But what happens is we hold ourselves back because we don't feel confident, and I get all of that. But the fact is, I've written everything to change it. And I know that it works because that's what happened for me. Someone said the other day, they look at me and they say, "Why are you always so up and bright and happy?" I said, "You don't know all this struggle I went through. You don't know all the suffering I did. I've written it all, but people won't read that because we don't look at it. We think, oh, this guy just had it all made." And that's never true. And what I know is that you have something extraordinary you're supposed to do. And if you do that, we will see our world change. That's the work that I was given. So I'm about to do this. I'm saying this today because I just wanted to put this out today because I'm taking time and I'm working on this. And what I'm saying, I created a complete guide to personal evolution and planetary ascension because they work together. As you become who you're meant to be, the world evolves and changes, and every soul has something within that we just don't trust it all the time. I did not trust this, and I wasn't going to tell people, except you can't do that once you discover that you have something that could cause our world to become better and cause individuals to live great lives and prosper. And I know that this work does that. I've seen it. But the only thing we do is we stop ourselves. There was a message I put up the other day because I had it as well. It says, stop stopping yourself. That's the only thing that we need to do, each person, because you have something within you. And I know that when I work with someone, I'm seeing your soul. I'm seeing that energy. That's when I'm doing a private channeling or a public channeling. That's when I'm seeing or hearing. Can't do it, don't do it for myself, though. I have to go back and listen and study and do it just like you do. But all of this information that I've created for all these 35 years will change anyone's life. And I know that it will change our planet. It was challenging to talk about that because people will say, no, that's not possible. And no one has ever given me a reason why it's not possible. See, because you will stay stuck in where you are and not allow yourself to prosper and have the abundance and love and light and all of that because you're afraid. And I understand it. I did that. That's why I wrote the book on fear. But we're at a specific place right now in our world where it's not really helpful to do that. You're supposed to be happy, in love with yourself, and have all you want. And if you take the steps to move to understanding your authentic self, then everything turns around. And I do know that. That's why I'm putting this out. So you have to know after hearing this video and seeing all the things that I put out in these last several weeks, there is no reason for you not to have the life you want to have, except you just keep stopping yourself as I did. You can choose to give that up whenever you like. See you soon. Please subscribe to the channel if it's your first time and share this with others. And next week, I will be putting out the complete program and the outline so you'll know exactly what it covers because it takes you to your life purpose. It moves you through your generational trauma, connects you to your spiritual self. It does all of those things together. And I know that it works because it made me happy. It'll do the same for you. See you soon.